But what we're going to do today is we're going to plant out and we're going to separate some of the gourds that we've already got. And these were planted early part of February using the same techniques that we've used. And what I'm also going to do is I'm going to show you a little problem that you might encounter and how to solve that. So keep watching and we'll go through those little bits. So what I've got here are two sets of Bangla Khodu. Now these are bottle gourds. This one was planted in the first week of February and this was planted in the second week of February. So we're now at the 1st of March. These are almost a month old and these are almost 3 weeks old. So a little trick to get these plants out easily from the plant pot is make sure before you take the plants out is you wet the soil. And if you make sure that these plants are wet, it'll come out quite easily from the pot. In a minute. Now, whenever you water these kind of plants, make sure the water that you use is lukewarm or it's at room temperature. That way the plants won't get a shock. What should happen is these plants should just pop out. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my fingers to secure the plant. So I'm going to get my fingers right near the base of the plant, secure them, and then I'm just going to give it a gentle tap and a gentle squeeze and the whole pot will just pop out like that in one go. And let's try this trick with the next one. So again, I'm going to get my fingers just at the base of the plant, secure it, give it a little squeeze. It's not coming, this one's a bit deeper. There we go, and it's just popped out in one go. So I'm gently just going to apply some pressure and let the soil just fall apart. And just let the soil fall apart. And gently give it a little bit of pressure and pull them apart. Separate the plants, each one. There we go, 1, 2. That one seems to have lost its head, so we'll get rid of that. So there we go, we've got 6 there. There we go, so that's 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 plants there. We'll start putting these up, each plant to an individual pot so it develops its own root system. So I'll fill this up with my potting mix and I'll take the root ball, I'll just drop it into place and then backfill around it. So I'll just press that in, firm it in. The thing you've got to be careful of is not to take the soil height level higher than, with these gourds, higher than they were in the original planting hole. Because if you do that, what you could end up with is neck rot, and you don't want to end up with neck rot because you've gone through all this trouble getting the plant going. These gourd plants are very susceptible to neck rot, so if you plant them too high, then what could happen is that they get weak around the base, and then they rot. That one in you go. That's number 2. What I'll be doing is from now till the end of April, every couple of weeks I'll sow another 7 or 8 plants. We'll keep this continuous sowing going all the way from now up until the end of April. But planting them now, it just gives you that advantage. In this country we're susceptible to a short growing season, and it just gives you that advantage where the plants are able to mature and they're able to develop, because ideally they want at least 7 or 8 months to go from seed all the way to maturity. But they want a lot of heat. That's why we're keeping them in the house now, giving them that head start. And then when it comes to our summer, when it's warm enough to eventually plant them out, we're already ahead of the game. If you didn't plant them now, if you don't have the space, wait a few weeks where you're wait a few weeks until the middle of March where you're comfortably able to plant and store and give them a warmer environment. So all of these are being kept in that bedroom by a big window, so it's a heated room really. It's almost like a heated greenhouse where we're keeping it. If you don't have the space, wait a few more weeks, and then by sort of end of April they should be able to go into an unheated greenhouse outside. And I say should because our weather can be quite surprising, can't it? And as these grow, I will move them into bigger pots to give them that chance to grow. As soon as I see the roots filling this pot, I'll move them on. So we'll keep staggering them. We'll keep giving them that giving them that staged growth. At the moment, because we're using artificial light, we're growing indoors. Space is limited. That's why I'm opting for the smaller pots. But if you could, then go for bigger pots straight out, and then from there you can plant straight into the garden. With these, I'm going to try and get them to grow on as much as I can in this, and then move them on into slightly bigger pots as they grow. With any plant, it wants to be moved as little as possible, and you want to start separating them as soon as they even before they've got the true leaves. Don't worry about waiting for the true leaves. Get them separated as soon as possible, so you're not disturbing the roots as much. So that's 9 plants planted up. So I'm going to show you a common problem that you can have with growing gourds. Because the seeds are a lot harder than things like pumpkins and squash that we're used to growing, with gourds the seeds can sometimes not fully open up and stick to the plant. And I'll show you what I'm talking about if you come here. So here's a good example. If you look at this plant, see how the ends of the leaves are damaged? The reason that they're damaged is because when this plant opened up, the seed didn't come apart. So what I had to do was I had to manually intervene and take that seed off. And that's why there's damage. I'm not too worried about it, because what'll happen with this is the true leaves will come out and the seed leaves will disappear anyway. So I'm not very worried about that at all. And this is what I'm talking about here. Is these seeds have popped up, and they're a few days old. The seeds should have detached by now. But when I'm touching it, it's prized on really thick, really difficult. And it's really difficult to remove. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to do an operation here. Yeah, I'm trying to just, with my hands, prise these apart, but it doesn't seem to be wanting to play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clip the end where it's still attached. So I'm just going to clip the end off. And I'm going to remove the seeds by hand. There we go. See how tough that seed is? It's absolutely rock. It feels like they're so woody, these seeds, that it can cause this little bit of damage. And there's the inside peel of the seed, so that wants to come off as well. Now, under some light, that will open up very easily, and within a couple of days I'll have my true leaves, the buds of my true leaves popping up. So again, same thing here. This is a very common problem with gourd seeds. So you might get to this stage, wonder why they've not detached, leave them as they are, and they'll just rot where they are. So here, make sure you get this skin off, because this will dry and it'll form and it'll stop it from opening up. So that needs to come off. I'll do the same thing with this one here. See, if you look at the size of those leaves, that seed should have popped off. So it is a very common problem that you can have with growing gourds. I mean, this one's a bit easier, so as I'm pulling, it's just coming off. There we go. It's just come off. See, it's taken some effort with me putting quite a bit of pressure on that to get it to open up. And there's another plant popping out. So I'm going to leave them there like that for the next couple of days. Wait for the leaves to fully open up. And there's a couple more seeds in there. I'm going to wait for them to pop up before I separate this. So I'm going to leave that as it is. So there are gourd plants. My Bangla Khodu, we'll get them under a warm windowsill where we can get as much sunlight on them as possible and keep them growing for the next few weeks. And my next video, what I'll do is I'll start planting my Bangladeshi uri. I'm not planting them yet because Bangladeshi uri you can get away with a little bit shorter growing season. So in the next week or two I'll start planting them out and I'll show you how we're doing them. So I'll leave it there for this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.